I'd like to introduce Teresa Boardman.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming out. My name is Teresa Boardman. Most of my life, I have worked towards having letters after my name. Maybe an MBA or a CPA, preferably a PhD. But thanks to lifelong mental illness, what I have is a degree in bipolar disorder type 1, with a focus on suicidal ideation and a minor in PTSD. Luckily, I also got OCD, which is the cool kid on the block. It's the one that you can take out at parties because people can poke fun at it and think it's okay because everybody has it. And it's just a nice icebreaker. But I've also lived with the deep, deep lows of depression and the invigorating highs of mania, but also the taunting, whispering, screaming, suicidal thoughts every day. I remember once lying on the bathroom floor. I was curled tightly up in a little ball, and the agony that was in my mind found solace in that empty bottle laying next to me. I could not erase my mental illness without erasing me, and it would all be over soon. I was sadly mistaken that day. That strong need to die was overridden by the limitations of being a 9-year-old child. I lacked the knowledge for perfect execution. My tortured days were destined to go on. As a young adult, I finally sought treatment, and that resulted in years of medication trial and error. After 25 failed medications, I earned a treatment-resistant badge. So I stopped. I managed for a long time without the medications, but the torture inside my head raged on. Other times it lurked, and it would blindside me when I least expected it. I could not go on. Many believe that suicide is an easy choice, but in fact it's not a choice at all. It's a compulsion. And if you reveal your feelings in those dark, dark moments, and the thoughts swirling around inside your head, you will be labeled and possibly be institutionalized at a hospital of their choosing. No one is on your side, not even you. 4 years ago, my biggest fear happened, and also my greatest hope. I had that major break with reality that resulted in being escorted to the mental hospital by my psychiatrist. After a rest period of 10 days, my regular care team sent me off to Salt Lake City to try electroconvulsive therapy, known as ECT. This is the gold standard for treatment-resistant depression. It's touted as safe and effective. Others see it as barbaric, the Jack Nicholson of healthcare treatment, mental health treatment. The long-term positive effects can be downplayed or overstated. The long-term negative effects can be exploited or denied. I was terrified to undergo the procedure. I had to stop all my medications because they interfered with the seizure, and it caused withdrawal. I also didn't tolerate anesthesia well, and there was a long list of possible side effects that would impact my life, my job, and my family. But I had to weigh the options. That deep, unstoppable desire to repeat my 9-year-old attempt compared to potential memory loss, headaches, broken teeth, and cognitive issues. So I endured around 20 treatments, and I chose double treatments where they induced 2 seizures instead of 1. Basically what they do is they take you into a room and put you on an IV. They put you to sleep, and they induce the seizures. Then you wake up. That part could be a subdued terror. There was a colossal headache that could last for days, an intense pain in your jaw, and a loss of memory. Where I was, where I belonged to, and who the people, my own family, that were around me. And yeah, the vomiting, the broken teeth, and occasionally throwing a few punches at the staff. As we left the facility, I would always look out the window of the car, and the world just seemed fragmented or somehow off. So I would reach out and I would touch it, and it would shatter and fall like glass, revealing another landscape that was identical right behind it. I had very few lucid moments after treatment. I wasn't best to be left alone. At home, I would keep watching the same movie on Netflix because I couldn't remember watching it. I had no memory of any of the time surrounding the treatment before or after. So my life became a blank look. I lost memories of the past, and moving on to the future, I had trouble making memories as I went on. Things were just gone from my head. My family struggled to understand. I lost cognitive abilities, essential things like vocabulary, spreadsheets, math, reading comprehension, and all of this I still struggle with 2 years later. So was it worth it? The alienation of my family at times, the struggles at work that led to disability, the constant question from people, Teresa, do you remember what we talked about last week? I showed you this. But about 6 months after the treatment, I was flooded with pure happiness, an emotion that I had never felt before. It wasn't the urgent highs of mania, but more like the fluttering wings of a butterfly, and it felt beautiful. Yes, it was worth it. It fades and returns. I still live with mental illness every day and the possibility of someday doing more treatment. I live with the after effects of my treatment every day. They will never go away. My mental illness will never go away, but I will keep going. Thank you.